Welcome. If you're here, it's probably late. Maybe you're winding down, or maybe you've been scrolling too long and stumbled onto something that felt different. That's okay. We're going to take our time here. No rush. No urgency. Just a slow walk through a world you thought you knew. The Sims. A game about life. About building houses and relationships. About careers and chaos and tiny digital people who somehow felt real. But beneath all that, beneath the bright colors and the cheerful music and the endless possibilities, there's another story. A quieter one. A stranger one. These are the secrets the game never meant to tell you. Not hidden on purpose, exactly. Just overlooked. Forgotten. Left behind like objects in an attic. And tonight, we're going to find them together. Let's begin. Secret 1. The loading screens lie to you politely. Before anything else, before your sim wakes up, before the first wall is placed, before the neighborhood even exists, the game speaks to you. You've seen it. Those little messages that appear while the world loads. Jokes about moose. Warnings that sound ridiculous. Reticulating splines. Adjusting emotional weights. They're funny, right? Harmless. A little wink from the developers while you wait. But here's the thing. Those messages aren't just jokes. They're a confession. Because in those few seconds, the game does something it will never do again. It talks to you. Not to your sim. Not through the world it's building. Directly. Openly. It acknowledges that it's a game. That it's loading. That it's constructing something for you. And then, the moment it finishes, the game never breaks character again. The illusion snaps into place. The world becomes real, or at least, it pretends to be. Your Sims go about their lives as if they were always there. As if the loading screen never happened. But it did. And you remember it. That moment where the game looked you in the eye and said, "This is fake. We both know it. But let's play anyway." It's polite. It's playful. And it's the first lie the game tells you, the one that makes all the others possible. Secret 2. The Loch Ness Monster appears where nothing else should. If you played the original Sims long enough, you might have seen it. Not in the game itself, not really, but on the startup screen. That painted scene of a quiet neighborhood street, a signpost, a body of water in the background. And sometimes, if you looked closely, there was something in the water. A shadow. A shape. Long and serpentine, rising just slightly above the surface. The Loch Ness Monster. Or something like it. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't animate. It doesn't have a purpose. You can't interact with it. You can't unlock it. It just exists. A detail so small that most people never noticed it. And those who did probably assumed it was a joke. A little Easter egg. A nod to cryptids and mysteries. But here's what's strange. It's not in the game. It's not part of the world you play in. It exists only in that liminal space, the startup screen. The place between you and the game. The threshold. And that makes it different. Because everything else in The Sims has a reason. A function. A place in the simulation. But the Loch Ness Monster? It's there for no reason at all. No payoff. No explanation. It exists only to be seen. And maybe, only to be forgotten. Like proof that the world contains things with no mechanical purpose. Things that are simply there. Watching. Waiting in the deep. Secret 3. Bears are not costumes, they are residents. Let's talk about the bears. Claire the bear. Bobo the bear. If you played the original Sims or its expansions, you've probably seen them. Big, cartoonish mascot bears wandering around community lots, digging through trash, showing up at parties uninvited. At first glance, they seem like jokes. NPCs in costumes. Background decoration to make the world feel quirky and alive. But they're not. They're Sims. Real Sims. With needs. With routines. With autonomy. If you watch them long enough, you'll notice. They get hungry. They get tired. They wander lots at night, rummaging through garbage because they're looking for food. They have relationships. They persist across neighborhoods, across expansions. They age, in a sense. They exist. The game treats them the same way it treats every other sim. They're not wearing costumes. There's no person inside. They are bears. And the world accepts this without question. No one in the game reacts to them as strange. No sim stops and says, "Why is there a bear at the nightclub?" They just live. Side by side with humans. Autonomous. Equal. And that blurs something important. The line between joke and reality. Between Easter egg and inhabitant. The bears are funny, yes. But they're also proof that the world of The Sims doesn't operate on the rules we expect. It operates on its own logic. A logic where a bear can be a neighbor. Where the absurd is simply part of the fabric. And once you notice that, you start to wonder what else you've been taking for granted. Secret 4. Sims will model clothes forever if not stopped. There's an interaction in the game. A simple one. Try on all outfits. You've probably used it. Click on a dresser or a clothing rack, and your sim starts cycling through their wardrobe. Posing. Spinning. Showing off each outfit one by one. It's harmless. Fun, even. A way to preview clothes before committing. But here's the thing. If you let it run, it never stops. The sim doesn't get tired. They don't get bored. They don't question what they're doing. They just keep going. Outfit after outfit, pose after pose, spinning in place like a mannequin locked in a loop. Without you, the player, intervening, they will do this forever. Literally. The game has no internal mechanism to end the action. No timer. No exhaustion threshold. The Sims' needs will decay, sure. They'll get hungry, tired, desperate. But they won't stop modeling. They'll stand there, posing, even as their bladder fails. Even as they collapse from exhaustion. Even as they die. Because the concept of enough doesn't exist for them. Not unless you decide it does. It's a small thing. A quirk of the game's mechanics. But it says something unsettling about the world you're controlling. About the autonomy, or lack of it, that these little digital people actually have. They are what you make them do. And if you make them do something forever, they will. Without hesitation. Without resistance. They trust you completely. Even when they shouldn't. Secret 5. Celebrities exist as reflections, not people. In The Sims Superstar and later expansions, fame becomes part of the world. Your sim can become a celebrity. Walk red carpets. Sign autographs. See their face on magazine covers. And when you're famous, you start to see other celebrities. Famous Sims. Names you recognize. Faces that appear on posters, on TV screens, in crowds at award shows. But here's the strange part. They're not really there. You can see them. You can recognize them. But you can't interact with them. You can't befriend them. You can't visit their homes. They exist only as images. Symbols. Reflections in the world, but never in the world. They appear on posters in your Sim's bedroom. They flicker across the television. They stand in the background of events, perfectly still, like cardboard cutouts. They have recognition without presence. Fame without agency. And that creates something eerie. A world where celebrity is not a person, it's a concept. A projection. Something you see everywhere but can never touch. Never reach. It mirrors something real, doesn't it? The way we experience fame in our own world. How celebrities feel omnipresent but distant. Visible but untouchable. More image than human. The Sims didn't need to do this. They could have made celebrities into interactive NPCs. But instead, they made them ghosts. Echoes of people who might exist somewhere, but not here. Not where you are. And maybe that's more honest than we'd like to admit. We're just getting started. And already, the world feels a little different, doesn't it? A little less certain. Let's go deeper. Secret 6. Debug objects mock curiosity. Every game has a hidden layer. Code. Assets. Things the player was never meant to see. In The Sims, if you know the right cheats, you can pull back the curtain. Reveal the debug objects. the developer tools left behind in the game's files. And when you do, you find nothing. Or rather, you find objects designed to be nothing. Invisible lines. Blank placeholders. Items with names like nothing to see here or do not use or simply test. They serve no function. They don't interact with Sims. They don't affect gameplay. They're just there, taking up space in the catalog, staring back at you. And that's the joke, isn't it? The developers knew. They knew people would go looking, would dig into the files, would try to find secrets. So they left these little traps for curiosity, objects that acknowledge your snooping, that mock you, gently, for trying to see behind the scenes. It's playful, but it's also a reminder. The game knows you're there. It knows you're not supposed to be looking, and it's watching you look. These objects exist only for the people who break the rules, the people who refuse to stay inside the boundaries. And the game has prepared for you. It's left breadcrumbs that lead nowhere, doors that open onto walls. It's saying, yes, you found something, but it's not what you were hoping for, is it? And maybe that's the real secret, that the game has always been aware of you, more aware than you thought. Secret 7, invisible portals govern daily life. In The Sims 1, the neighborhood feels alive. Sims walk down the street. Cars drive by. Pedestrians stroll past your lot, living their own little lives. It feels organic, random, natural, but it's not. If you dig into the game's mechanics, if you use cheats to reveal hidden objects, you'll find them. The portals. Invisible spawn points embedded in the sidewalks. Little nodes where the game generates pedestrians out of thin air. Sims don't walk from anywhere. They appear, fully formed. And they walk until they reach another portal, where they disappear. And here's the strange part. You can move these portals. With the right cheats, you can pick them up and place them anywhere. In the middle of a lawn, inside a house, on a rooftop. And when you do, the Sims follow. They spawn in impossible places, walk through walls, appear in your living room, confused, and then vanish again when they reach the next portal. It breaks the illusion completely. The neighborhood isn't alive. It's a script, a loop. Public life isn't organic, it's injected. Controlled by invisible machinery you were never meant to see. And once you know that, you can't unsee it. Every pedestrian becomes a puppet. Every car, a ghost. The world outside your lot isn't real. It's a projection. A performance put on for you, the player, to make the world feel less empty. But it is empty. It always has been. You're just not supposed to notice. Secret 8. Entire lots are visible but unreachable. Sometimes, when you're looking at the neighborhood map, you'll see them. Land parcels. Empty lots. Pieces of land that look like they should be playable. You hover your cursor over them. The camera zooms in. You can see the terrain, the textures, the roads leading up to them. But you can't click them. You can't select them. You can't build on them. You can't enter. They're locked. Not with a message. Not with an explanation. They're just sealed. Visible but untouchable. And the thing is, they are finished. Fully modeled. The game has rendered them completely. They are not placeholders. They are not broken. They exist in the world, just as real as the lots you can play. But you're not allowed in. It's like walking through a building and noticing a door you've never seen before. And when you try the handle, it doesn't budge. And there's no sign. No lock. Just a door that won't open. And you start to wonder, what's on the other side? Why is it there if you can't use it? Did something happen there? Was something planned? Or is it just waiting? The game doesn't tell you. It never will. But those lots remain. On the map. In your peripheral vision. A reminder that the world contains spaces you will never see. And maybe that's the point. That not everything is for you. That some doors stay closed. Secret 9. Fully modeled objects were abandoned mid-story. Deep in the game files, hidden from normal play, there are objects that should exist. That do exist. But you'll never find them in the catalog. Snow globes, portraits, decorative items, fully textured, fully animated, complete. They're not broken. They're not unfinished. They're done. Ready to be placed in a Sims home, ready to be interacted with. But they were never released, never included, left behind. And that's what makes them strange. Because unfinished assets are common in games. Placeholders, half-textured models, things that clearly weren't ready. But these are ready. They are polished. They exist at the same level of quality as everything else in the game, which means they were removed, deliberately, after being completed. And that suggests something else. Not abandoned development, but abandoned story. Removed scenes, cut narrative threads. What were these objects part of? What lot were they meant for? What Sim was supposed to own them? The game won't tell you, but they are still there, in the files, waiting, like props from a play that never opened, like set pieces from a scene that was cut before anyone saw it. And somewhere in the game's history, those objects meant something. They were part of something. But now, they're just ghosts. Beautiful, complete, forgotten ghosts. 9 secrets. And already, the world feels heavier, stranger, more aware. But we're only beginning. There are so many more. Deeper ones. Darker ones. For now, rest. Let these settle. Let the images form in your mind. And when you're ready, we'll continue. Together. Into the places the game doesn't want you to see. You're still here. Good. We've walked through the surface strangeness, the jokes, the quirks, the little broken pieces that didn't quite fit. But now we're going somewhere else. Somewhere the game gets quieter, more deliberate. Because The Sims isn't just about building houses and managing needs. Beneath all that, woven into the neighborhoods and family trees and pre-made lots, there are stories. Dark ones. Stories the game tells without ever speaking them aloud. Stories it places carefully in front of you and then walks away from, leaving you to notice. Or not. Let's talk about those stories now. Secret 10. Olive Specter's basement is not metaphorical. If you've played The Sims 2, you know Olive Specter, the elderly woman living alone in Strangetown. Quiet, unassuming, a little odd, maybe, but harmless enough. Until you visit her house. And you go downstairs. Her basement isn't furnished like a living space. There's no cozy rec room. No storage. No laundry. It's sparse, cold, and it's filled with graves. Not one or two. Many. A small cemetery tucked beneath her home. And if you check the names on those gravestones, if you read the family trees, you'll find something chilling. They're all her romantic partners. Husbands. Boyfriends. Lovers. All dead. All buried in her basement. The game gives you their causes of death. Drowning. Starvation. Electrocution. Fires. Each one listed cleanly in the game's memory, as if these were just unfortunate accidents. But the layout tells a different story. Because the basement doesn't feel like a memorial. It feels like a containment space. The graves are arranged too neatly. Too deliberately. Like someone who knew they'd be adding more. And the game never confirms anything. There's no murder mechanic in The Sims 2. No confession. No investigation. Olive never explains. The game never accuses. But it places the evidence. Carefully. Quietly. And then it walks away. It lets you decide what you're looking at. It lets you stand in that basement, surrounded by graves, and draw your own conclusions. And maybe that's more unsettling than a confession would be. Because the game knows what it's showing you. It designed this. Every grave. Every name. Every detail. It just refuses to say it out loud. Secret 11. The Triku family exists only as aftermath. In The Sims 2, there's a family you'll probably never meet. Not as living Sims, anyway. The Trikus. They're mentioned in lore books. Referenced in item descriptions. Their story is tragic, a curse, a family destroyed, a legacy of suffering that spans generations. But they don't exist in gameplay. Not really. You can encounter them as ghosts. Faint, flickering apparitions tied to certain objects or hidden lots. But they have no living presence. No continuation. No resolution. The curse that destroyed them is explained textually, written out in paragraphs you can read if you dig deep enough. But it's never resolved mechanically. You can't break the curse. You can't save them. You can't even interact with them in any meaningful way. They are preserved. Frozen. Not as a story, but as a warning. The game says, this happened. This family existed. And now they don't. And that's all. It's strange, isn't it? To include a family so thoroughly in the lore, to give them names and backstories and tragedy, and then to leave them as nothing but echoes. Ghosts haunting objects. Footnotes in someone else's world. They're not there to be saved. They're there to remind you that some things can't be fixed. That some stories don't have endings, just absences where endings should be. The trichus are the aftermath. And the game wants you to feel that. The weight of something that's already over. Already lost. Secret 12, Skip Broke's death contradicts physics. Let's talk about the Broke family. They're one of the pre-made households in The Sims 2. A struggling family. Financial problems. Relationship issues. The kind of messy, relatable drama the game does so well. But there's something darker in their history. Something that doesn't add up. Skip Broke, the father, is dead when the game begins. And if you check his death record, it tells you how he died. Drowning. In a pool. But here's the problem. The way a sim drowns in a pool is very specific. They get tired. They try to get out. And they can't. Either because the pool has no ladder, or because the ladder has been removed, or because something is blocking their exit. It requires containment. Neglect, at minimum. Intent, more likely. The game lists Skip's death as accidental. Just a tragic mishap. But the mechanics don't support that. Sims don't just drown by accident. The game doesn't allow it. There are too many safeguards. Too many warnings. Someone had to let it happen. Or make it happen. And the game knows this. It designed these mechanics. It knows that drowning isn't random. That it requires specific circumstances. But it records Skip's death as an accident anyway. It writes the conclusion without showing you the scene. It tells you what happened, but not how. Not really. And so you're left with a contradiction. A death that doesn't make sense unless you accept that something darker happened. Something the game won't tell you about. But it will let you think about it. Late at night. When you're remembering the Broke family and wondering why Skip isn't there. Secret 13. Lolita Goth's gravestone doesn't match the world. In The Sims 1, there's a gravestone in the Goth family cemetery. It belongs to Lolita Goth. An ancestor. Long dead by the time you start playing. And if you examine her grave, it tells you how she died. Electrocution. Which would be fine. Tragic, but fine. Except for one thing. There's no story behind it. No event in the family history. No environmental detail that explains it. Just the cause of death, written cleanly on the stone. Electrocution. But where? When? How? The game doesn't say. And more strangely, the world doesn't support it. There's no broken appliance in the Goth mansion. No electrical fire in the family lore. No newspaper clipping or memory or reference. The death exists without a causal chain. Like the game wrote the ending of a sentence but forgot to write the beginning. And that creates something eerie. A conclusion without context. A fact floating in a void. Lolita Goth died of electrocution. The game is certain of that. But it has no idea how. Or it did, once, and then forgot. Or it never knew, and just decided anyway. It's a small thing. A minor inconsistency in a sprawling game. But it feels like evidence of something else. Like the world is telling stories it doesn't fully remember. Recording events it never witnessed. Like history is just guessing. Secret 14. Emotional deaths leave unique markers. In The Sims 4, Sims can die from emotions. Too much anger. Too much sadness. Too much hysteria. Push a Sim's emotional state too far, and it becomes lethal. They clutch their chest. They collapse. And they're gone. And when they die this way, their gravestone remembers. Not just that they are dead, but how they felt when it happened. A sim who dies from laughter leaves a gravestone marked with hysteria. A sim who dies from rage leaves one encoded with fury. The world remembers their emotional state more clearly than it remembers the circumstances. And that's strange, isn't it? Because in most games, in most life, we remember events, actions, the things that happened. But in The Sims, the world prioritizes feeling. It cares more about how a sim felt when they died than what they were doing. The gravestone doesn't say, died while watching comedy. It says, died laughing. The emotion becomes the cause. The feeling becomes the event. And maybe that's more honest than we'd like to admit. Because how many of us remember moments by what we were doing versus how we felt? How many memories are just emotions attached to blurry scenes? The Sims knows this. It encodes it into death itself. The world remembers feelings. Everything else fades. And when you visit a graveyard full of emotional deaths, you're not reading a history of events. You're reading a history of feelings. Of Sims who laughed too hard, raged too much, cried themselves into the ground. It's a strange kind of memorial. But maybe it's the only kind that matters. Secret 15. The tragic clown is not symbolic. Let's talk about the tragic clown. He's a joke, right? A weird, unsettling NPC who appears when your sim is sad. He shows up uninvited, cries, mopes around, and makes everything worse. He's annoying. A meme. A piece of absurdist humor. But he's not just that. Because in The Sims 1, there's a painting. The tragic clown painting. And if you hang it in your sim's house, something happens. Your sim's needs start to drain. Slowly, at first. But steadily. Hunger drops. Energy drops. Hygiene, comfort, fun, all of it decays faster than it should. And it doesn't stop. The painting doesn't just summon the tragic clown. It is the problem. The painting itself is the hazard. It's not symbolic. It's not metaphorical. It's a persistent, mechanical drain on your sim's well-being, disguised as decoration. And the effect escalates. The longer the painting stays up, the worse things get. Your sims become more miserable. The tragic clown appears more often. The house itself feels heavier. And the game never warns you. It doesn't say, this painting is dangerous. It doesn't label it as a trap. It just lets you hang it. And then it lets the consequences unfold. It's a test. Or maybe a punishment. For thinking something in The Sims is just decoration. For assuming the world is safe. Because it's not. The tragic clown isn't a joke. He's a threat. And his painting is a doorway. Once you open it, he doesn't leave. And your sims? They suffer. Slowly. Quietly. And the painting stays on the wall, smiling. And now we reach the story everyone knows. The one that's been whispered about for 20 years. Bella Goth. Secret 16, Bella Goth disappears. Or is she? If you know The Sims, you know this. It's the most famous mystery in the game. The matriarch of the Goth family, Mortimer's wife, Cassandra's mother, vanishes without explanation in The Sims 2. One moment, she exists. The next, she's gone. But here's the thing. She's not really gone. Because if you dig into the game files, she's still there. Her character data. Her memories. Her relationships. She exists in the code, fully intact, even though she's missing from the world. And across games, across timelines, across expansions, fragments of her appear. An NPC with her face in a strange neighborhood. A townie with her name. A ghost in someone's attic. She is neither alive nor fully deleted. She exists in pieces. Scattered. Fragmented. And the game never explains this. Never tells you why she's in the files but not in the world. Why she appears in some versions but not others. Why she seems to exist in multiple states at once. It's like she's caught. Suspended between presence and absence. Between being a character and being a memory. And maybe that's the point. Because Bella Goth isn't just a sim who went missing. She's a story that went missing. A narrative thread the game started and then couldn't finish. So instead, she haunts it. Forever. Unresolved. Secret 17. Each game contradicts the last explanation. Over the years, the developers have tried to explain what happened to Bella Goth sort of. In The Sims 2, there are hints of alien abduction, strange memories, a connection to the Beaker family. It seems like maybe she was taken, experimented on, lost somewhere in Strangetown. But then The Sims 3 suggests something else. Time travel, paradoxes, alternate timelines. Maybe she never went missing at all. Maybe she just shifted. And then The Sims 4 offers yet another explanation. Or non-explanation. Bella exists. She's alive. She's in the game. But her story is different. Contradictory. Unrelated to what came before. Each game offers a new theory. And each theory contradicts the last. And at some point, you realize the mystery isn't intentional. It's not a carefully crafted puzzle with a hidden solution. It's indecision. The developers don't know what happened to Bella Goth. Or they can't agree. Or they did, once, and then changed their minds. So they keep rewriting her. Keep offering new explanations that don't quite fit. Keep hoping one will stick. But none of them do. Because the story isn't cohesive. It's fractured. A mystery born not from clever design, but from conflicting ideas. And somehow, that makes it sadder. Because Bella Goth isn't lost in some grand conspiracy. She's lost in narrative chaos. A character without a clear story. A question without an answer. Just fragments. Scattered across games. Across timelines. Never whole. Secret 18. Cut content implies multiple outcomes. And then there are the files. Hidden assets. Unused content. Alternate versions of Bella that exist in the game's code but were never released. In some, she's alive. Living in a hidden lot. Relocated. Safe. In others, she's been cloned. Or trapped. Or contained in some facility. In others still, she's simply gone. Erased. No explanation. No body. Just an absence. These assets exist. Fully modeled. Textured. Programmed. They're not rough drafts or placeholders. They're finished. They're real. Which means, at some point, these were all possibilities. Different outcomes the developers considered. Different versions of her story. But none were chosen as canonical. None were released. They were just left behind. In the files. Waiting. And that means Bella Goth's fate was never decided. Not really. She exists in multiple states because the game never committed to one. She's alive. She's dead. She's missing. She's hidden. She's cloned. She's safe. She's suffering. All of it is true. And none of it is. Because the game couldn't choose. So it kept all the options. Buried. Inaccessible. And Bella remains. Suspended. Undefined. A character without an ending. A story without a conclusion. Secret 19. Her absence restructures entire families. And here's what makes it matter. Bella Goth's disappearance doesn't just affect her. It restructures everyone around her. Mortimer, her husband. In some games, he's grieving. In others, he's moved on. In others still, he's suspicious. Searching. Obsessed. Cassandra, her daughter. Sometimes she's bitter. Sometimes she's lost. Sometimes she barely remembers her mother at all. Alexander, her son. His entire personality shifts depending on whether Bella is present. Whether she's remembered. Whether her absence is treated as tragedy or mystery or simply accepted. Bella is a missing variable. And her absence changes the equation. The Goth family is different in every game. Not because of design evolution or narrative intent. But because Bella's disappearance functions like a wound the world can't heal. A gap that distorts everything around it. And the game never fixes it. Never resolves it. Never brings her back in a way that makes sense. She just stays gone. And the world keeps bending around the space where she used to be. And maybe that's the most honest thing The Sims has ever done. Because that's what loss is, isn't it? Not a story with a beginning, middle, and end. But an absence that reshapes everything. A missing piece that makes the whole picture look different. Bella Goth is gone. And everyone left behind is just trying to make sense of the shape she left. 10 more secrets. 10 more pieces of a world that doesn't quite fit together. We've walked through graveyards and broken families. Through contradictions and ghosts. Through the places where the game tried to tell a story and couldn't quite finish. But there's more. There's always more. By now, you've seen the cracks. The stories that don't quite finish. The characters who vanish. The graves that pile up in basements. But there's another layer to this. Something deeper than story. Deeper than character. Because The Sims isn't just a game about people. It's a game about space. About the world itself. The neighborhoods. The lots. The places you can go, and the places you can't. And if you look closely, if you pay attention to where the world lets you walk and where it doesn't, you start to notice something strange. The world has layers. Hidden ones. And tonight, we're going to peel them back. Secret 20. Secret worlds are not secret by accident. In The Sims 4, there are places you can't just visit. Places that don't appear on the map. Places that require something else. Sylvan Glade. A hidden forest realm, beautiful and glowing, tucked away from normal neighborhoods. You find it by exploring a specific tree in Willow Creek. Again and again. Until the world decides you're ready. Sixum. The alien homeworld. You can only reach it by building a rocket ship. By leveling up your skills. By performing a specific ritual of discovery. The Forgotten Grotto. A secret cave. You find it while fishing. Or repairing something. Through mundane actions that suddenly reveal something extraordinary. And here's the thing. These places aren't incomplete. They're not half-finished bonus areas. They're fully realized. Fully designed. Complete. Which means they were always there. The game didn't create them when you found them. It didn't generate them on the fly. They existed the whole time. Underneath. Alongside. Hidden. And that reframes everything. Because these aren't Easter eggs. They're not secrets from the world. They're secrets in the world. Places that exist whether you find them or not. The world is bigger than what you're shown. And it always has been. You're not discovering new places. You're just learning how to see what was already there. Secret 21. Forgotten Grotto exists beneath normal space. Let's talk about the Forgotten Grotto specifically. Because it's the strangest one. You find it through fishing. Or while repairing a broken object. These mundane, everyday actions. And suddenly, without warning, your sim notices something. A crack in the world. A passage. And they walk through. And they're somewhere else. A beautiful underground space. Waterfalls. Glowing plants. Stone paths. It's serene. Untouched. Ancient. And it's beneath the neighborhood. Literally beneath it. Under the parks and houses and streets you've been walking on this whole time. The implication is staggering. Because it means extraordinary places are hidden inside routine labor. That the world contains wonders, and you access them not through grand quests or heroic journeys, but through fixing a sink. Casting a line into a pond. The magical is embedded in the mundane. The transcendent is reached through repetition. And maybe that's the most quietly profound thing The Sims has ever said. That you don't find beauty by seeking it out. You find it by paying attention. By being present in small moments. By doing ordinary things with care. And one day, the world opens. And you see what was always underneath. Secret 22. Alien society is more stable than human neighborhoods. Sixum, the alien homeworld, feels different from every other location in The Sims 4. It's not just the aesthetic. The strange plants. The glowing crystals. The alien architecture. It's the stability. Because Sixum doesn't need you. It doesn't rely on player intervention to function. It's not a neighborhood you build or manage. It's a society. And it exists independently. The infrastructure is already there. The flora is thriving. The social logic is intact. Aliens have routines, relationships, hierarchies. They don't need your sim to arrive and start organizing things. And that's unusual, because almost every other neighborhood in The Sims feels fragile. Like it's held together by your attention. Like if you stopped playing, everything would collapse. But Sixum? Sixum would be fine. It feels less like a simulation and more like a place. A real location that exists on its own terms. That was here before you. That will be here after you leave. And that makes it unsettling. Because it suggests that the alien world is more real, more coherent, than the human one. That maybe the suburbs and cities and neighborhoods you've been building are the fragile things. The artificial ones. And Sixum is what a world looks like when it doesn't need to perform for you. Secret 23, Island caves unlock memory, not loot. In The Sims 4, Island Living, there's a cave. Muapellum. A sacred space tied to island culture and exploration. You visit it. You explore. You find treasures, maybe. But that's not the point. Because the cave remembers you. If you come back, if you visit again and again, the cave changes. It responds to your presence. It acknowledges that you've been here before. That you've walked these paths. That you're not a stranger. And that's rare. In most games, locations reset. Dungeons refill. Loot respawns. The world forgets you the moment you leave. But Muapellum doesn't. It knows you. It tracks your relationship with it. And the more you return, the deeper your connection becomes. It's not about what you take from the cave. It's about the fact that the cave recognizes you took the time to come back. And maybe that's what makes a place sacred. Not that it's special, but that it remembers. That it sees you. That it knows you were there. The cave doesn't judge. It doesn't demand. It just notices. And in noticing, it honors you. And when you leave, it waits. Because it knows you'll return. And when you do, it will remember. But the world isn't perfect. It tries to hold itself together, to enforce its rules, to keep you inside the boundaries it's drawn. But sometimes the seams show. Sometimes the world breaks. Just a little. And when it does, you see what's underneath. Secret 24. Sims can bypass gates without permission. The Sims has rules. Barriers. Gates. Locked doors. Things that are supposed to keep Sims out of certain areas. But sometimes, they don't. Sometimes, a Sim with high enough skills, handiness, fitness, logic, will simply walk around them. Not through them. Not by breaking them. They just pathfind differently. The game calculates their route, and suddenly, they're on the other side. Inside a locked lot. Behind a barrier. In a place they weren't supposed to reach. And the game doesn't stop them. It doesn't trigger an error. It just lets it happen. Because the world enforces rules imperfectly. The barriers are suggestions, not absolutes. And if a Sim is skilled enough, clever enough, the world bends. And that's a strange kind of truth, isn't it? That the rules aren't universal. That if you're good enough, knowledgeable enough, the world will let you through. Even when it's not supposed to. It's not a glitch. It's a feature. The world is coded to allow exceptions. To let certain Sims bypass the locks. And once you know that, you start to wonder. How many other barriers are optional? How many rules are just guidelines? How much of the world structure is just an illusion of control? Secret 25. Routing errors expose hidden interiors. And sometimes, the world breaks more dramatically. Routing errors. Pathfinding glitches. A Sim walks from one room to another, and suddenly, without warning, they're somewhere else. Not where they were going. Not where they should be. But, beneath. Below. They've clipped through the floor. Dropped into a basement that wasn't supposed to be accessible. A sublevel the game never intended you to see. And here's the thing. These spaces exist. They're not void. They're not empty error space. They are functional, textured, lit, furnished, sometimes. They're just not acknowledged. Not officially. Not by the game's interface. Not by the world's logic. But they are there. Underneath. Layers of space that exist without being part of the playable world. And when a sim accidentally falls into one, you see it. Just for a moment. Before the game corrects itself. Before the sim resets. But you saw it. The hidden interior. The space between spaces. And you start to wonder. How much of the world exists like this? Finished enough to be real, but not finished enough to be seen? How many rooms are there beneath your feet? How many floors? How deep does the world go? And now we need to talk about you. Because you're not just exploring the world. You're controlling it. You're making decisions. Taking actions. Shaping lives. And the game has noticed. Secret 26. Dead Sims can be monetized. In The Sims, if your sim is a painter, their work has value. Paintings can be sold. Hung on walls. Admired. But here's something you might not have realized. When the painter dies, their paintings become more valuable. Significantly more valuable. The game increases the price. The market responds to their death. Collectors, apparently, want the work of dead artists more than living ones. And that creates an incentive. Because now, death isn't just tragedy. It's not just loss. It's an economic strategy. You could keep your sim alive. Keep them painting. Build a career. Or you could let them die. And watch their life's work appreciate in value. The game doesn't judge you for this. It doesn't present it as morbid. It just builds the mechanic. And waits to see what you do with it. And maybe you never thought about it. Maybe you never exploited it. Maybe the idea never crossed your mind. But it's there. The option. The possibility. Death as profit. Legacy as currency. The game allows it. Quietly. Without comment. And once you know that, you can't unknow it. Every painting becomes a potential investment. Every artist, a future windfall. The world doesn't care. It just calculates. And continues. Secret 27. Violence holidays remove consequence. The Sims 4 has holidays. Custom celebrations your Sims can observe. Traditions. Special days. And one of those traditions is neighborhood brawl. On this day, this one specific day, Sims can fight each other. Freely. Without consequence. Normally, violence damages relationships. Causes grudges. Creates rifts that take time to heal. But on neighborhood brawl day, none of that applies. Sims can punch each other. Shove. Insult. Fight in the streets. And when it's over, everyone just moves on. No lasting damage. No broken friendships. No memory of the violence. The system temporarily suspends morality. The world declares a day where harm doesn't count. Where aggression is permitted. Encouraged, even. And then, the next day, everything resets. Like it never happened. And that's chilling. Because it means the world's rules aren't absolute. They're conditional. The game can simply decide, on arbitrary days, that violence is fine. That consequences don't matter. And if the world can do that for a holiday, what else can it suspend? What other rules are negotiable? The game frames it as fun, as chaos, as a quirky tradition. But underneath, it's revealing something darker. That morality in The Sims is a toggle. A switch the world can flip on and off. And you, the player, are invited to participate. To throw your Sims into the brawl. To watch them hurt each other. Just for a day. Just for fun. And tomorrow, no one will remember. Secret 28. Cowplants are predators disguised as decor. Let's talk about the cowplant. It's a staple of The Sims. A strange, hybrid creature, part plant, part animal. Huge, goofy-looking, with a big, dopey smile and a bell-shaped udder. It looks ridiculous, harmless, like a joke, until it eats someone. Because the cowplant has a lure. A piece of cake that extends from its mouth, dangling like bait. And Sims see it, and they get hungry, and they reach for it, and the plant strikes. It swallows them whole. consumes them in one gulp. And your sim is gone. Dead. Just like that. And the thing is, the cow plant looks decorative. It looks like a fun, weird addition to your garden. A quirky piece of world building. But it's not. It's a predator. A trap. And it will kill. The game doesn't warn you. It doesn't label the cow plant as dangerous. It just lets you place it. Lets you feed it. Lets you watch your sims wander too close. And one day, inevitably, someone reaches for the cake. And the plant was waiting. The cow plant is a reminder that not everything cute is safe. That decoration can be danger. That the world contains things designed to look harmless until the moment they aren't. And by then, it's too late. Secret 29, heirlooms outlive individuality. In The Sims Mobile and The Sims Free Play, there's a mechanic. Heirlooms. When your sim retires, when they reach the end of their life and step aside for the next generation, they leave behind objects. Items that carry permanent buffs. Bonuses that benefit every sim who comes after. The heirloom doesn't remember the sim who left it. It doesn't carry their personality, their quirks, their story. It just carries the benefit, the efficiency, the mechanical advantage. And that's all that remains. Your sim's identity dissolves. Their individuality is stripped away. And what's left is a plus 10% boost to career performance. A slight increase in skill gain. A minor efficiency upgrade. They become a number. A stat. A passive bonus in someone else's game. And that's the legacy. That's what outlives them. Not their memories. Not their relationships. Not the life they lived. Just the utility they provided. And maybe that's the most honest and the most brutal thing The Sims has ever said about inheritance. About what we leave behind. That in the end, we're not remembered for who we were. We're remembered for what we were useful for. And the world moves on. More efficient than before. But not because it remembers us. Just because we made the numbers go up. 10 more secrets. 10 more pieces of a world that doesn't quite work the way you thought it did. We've walked through hidden places. Through broken rules. Through the uncomfortable realization that you, the player, are part of the system. Part of the machine. And the world is watching. Quietly. Patiently. Waiting to see what you'll do next. But we're not done yet. There are more layers. Deeper ones. Stranger ones. We've come a long way together. Through neighborhoods and graveyards. Through hidden worlds and broken rules. Through the uncomfortable spaces where the game stops pretending and starts showing you things. But there's one more layer. The deepest one. Because all this time, through every secret, every glitch, every strange detail, there's been something else happening. Something you might not have noticed. The game has been watching you back. And sometimes it speaks. Secret 30. White rabbits appear without context. In The Sims 4, there are messages. Notifications. Little pop-ups that appear sometimes when you're playing. And some of them are strange. Follow the white rabbit. The tunnels have no exits. You're late. You're always late. They appear without warning. Without explanation. There's no quest attached. No mechanic to follow. No rabbit to find. No tunnel to enter. Just the message. And then it's gone. And you're left sitting there, staring at your screen, wondering what you were supposed to do with that. What it meant. Why it appeared. But there's nothing to do. No action to take. The game has spoken, and now it's silent again. These aren't bugs. They're not errors. They're written. Deliberately. By someone who knew they'd appear and knew they'd lead nowhere. They invite curiosity while offering no way to satisfy it. They gesture toward meaning without providing any. It's like the game is testing you. Seeing if you'll chase shadows. If you'll search for rabbits that don't exist. For tunnels that have no entrances. Or maybe it's just talking. To itself. To you. To no one. Saying things it knows won't be answered. And then moving on. Leaving you alone. Wondering. Secret 31. Familiars whisper, unused prophesies. In The Sims 4, Realm of Magic, Your sim can have a familiar, a magical creature, a companion, and sometimes they speak. Little messages, whispers, hints about spells you could cast, magic you could perform. Except, the spells they mention don't exist. Not in the game. Not in any expansion. Not anywhere you can access. They reference systems that were planned, coded, maybe, discussed, but never shipped, never finished. And yet the familiars remember them. They speak as if those spells are real. As if you could just open your spellbook and find them. But you can't. Because they were cut, removed, left behind. And no one told the familiars. So they keep whispering, keep hinting, keep preparing you for magic that will never come. And that creates something sad, something eerie. Because the familiars are prophets of a world that doesn't exist. They speak truths about a game that was never released. They remember a version of The Sims that you'll never play. And they can't stop, can't update, can't realize their prophecies are empty. They just keep talking, into the void, hoping someone will understand. But no one does. Because the world they're describing isn't real. Not anymore. Secret 32. Imaginary friends deteriorate when ignored. In The Sims 3, children can have imaginary friends. These strange, colorful dolls that come to life. That play with your sim. That feel almost real. But if you ignore them, if you don't interact, don't play, don't acknowledge them, they start to break down. Not all at once. Slowly. Gradually. They loop behaviors. Repeat the same animations over and over. Their emotions glitch, flickering between happy and sad and neutral without reason. Their pathfinding fails. They get stuck in corners, in doorways, and they don't disappear cleanly. They linger, half present, half gone, like they're trying to stay, trying to be real, but can't quite manage it anymore. And the game never explains this. Never tells you that ignoring your imaginary friend will cause them to deteriorate. It just happens, quietly, in the background. And one day you notice, your child's friend isn't quite right anymore. They're glitching, fading, struggling to exist. And it's because you stopped paying attention. Because in The Sims, even imaginary things need acknowledgement to survive. Even dreams need someone to believe in them. And when you stop, when you turn away, they don't just vanish. They break. They fragment. They haunt the edges of your house, trying desperately to be seen. Until finally, eventually, they're just gone. And you never quite remember when. Secret 33. Sims detect betrayal without witnesses. Here's something that should be impossible. Your sim cheats on their partner. You're careful. You make sure no one sees. No witnesses. No observers. The affair happens in private, behind closed doors, in a different neighborhood entirely. And then you come home. And your sim's partner knows. They're angry. Betrayed. The relationship has tanked. They confront your sim. Accuse them. But how? There were no witnesses. No one saw. The game didn't show you a notification. No sim walked in. No system triggered. And yet, they know. Because the game tracks states you never see. Invisible variables. Hidden calculations. The world remembers what happened, even when no one was watching. Even when it should have been secret. And that's unsettling. Because it means the world isn't just simulating what's visible. It's simulating everything. It knows things you didn't tell it. It draws conclusions you didn't expect. Your sims aren't just responding to what they see. They're responding to what the world knows. What the system has recorded. And you, the player, don't have full access to that. You don't see all the variables. All the hidden states. The game knows more than it shows you. It always has. And sometimes, it lets your sims know too. Even when they shouldn't. And now we've reached the end. Not of the secrets. There are always more. Buried deeper. Hidden better. But the end of what we can say about them. The end of the pattern. Because after everything we've walked through, after all the contradictions and glitches and strange, quiet horrors, there's one last thing to understand. One final truth the game has been showing you all along. Secret 34. The world never resolves contradictions. It accumulates them. Bella Goth vanishes. But she's also in the files. Also in different neighborhoods. Also referenced in conflicting ways. Skip broke drowns accidentally. But the mechanics don't support accidents. Lolita Goth dies of electrocution. But there's no story. No cause. The trike is accursed. But the curse is never resolved. Never broken. Never addressed. And the game never fixes this. Never reconciles it. Never chooses one truth over another. It just keeps adding. Keep layering. Keeps building contradictions on top of contradictions until the foundation is nothing but inconsistency. And somehow, the world doesn't collapse. It holds. It persists. It continues functioning. Because The Sims doesn't operate on narrative coherence. It operates on accumulation. On adding more. Always more. Expansions. Updates. Content packs. Each one adding new systems, new stories, new mechanics. And none of them quite fit together. None of them reconcile with what came before. But that doesn't matter. Because the game isn't trying to be consistent. It's trying to be infinite. Endless. A world that never stops growing, even if that means it grows strange. Contradictory. Impossible. The world never resolves its contradictions. It just buries them. Under new content. New distractions. And keeps going. Secret 35. Cut content is preserved, not erased. And here's why those contradictions exist. Because The Sims never truly deletes anything. Content gets cut. Features get removed. Story threads get abandoned. But the files remain. The data. The assets. They are still there. In the code. Unused. Inaccessible. But preserved. Bella's alternate outcomes. The Triku's unresolved curse. Familiar prophesies for spells that don't exist. Debug objects labeled nothing to see here. None of it was erased. It was just set aside. Left in the files. In case. Maybe. Someday. Or maybe just because deleting things is harder than leaving them. And so the game becomes an archaeological site. Layers of abandoned ideas. Forgotten narratives. Half-finished systems. All of it still there. Still part of the world. Even if you can't see it. Even if you can't access it. The game remembers what gameplay denies. Files remember what the world forgot. And if you dig deep enough, if you open the code, examine the assets, read the unused dialogue, you find all of it. Every version. Every possibility. The game is every decision it ever considered. Every story it almost told. And none of them are gone. They're just quiet. Waiting. In the dark. Beneath the surface. Secret 36. The player is not the highest authority. They are permitted access, not ownership. You control the Sims. You build their houses. You direct their lives. You decide who lives, who dies, who falls in love, who suffers. You think you're in charge. But you're not. Because the game has systems you can't override. Rules you can't break. States you can't see. Sims know about betrayals you hid. Familiars speak prophesies you can't fulfill. The world tracks variables you don't have access to. You're not the architect. You're not the god. You're just permitted. Allowed to play. Given access to certain levers. Certain controls. But the world operates beyond you. Beneath you. Without you. And sometimes, it reminds you of that. When a sim path finds around a barrier you built. When a routing error drops them into a space you didn't know existed. When the game whispers about white rabbits and offers no way to follow. You're inside the system. But you're not the system. You're a participant. A user. A guest. And the world? The world belongs to itself. It has its own logic. Its own memory. Its own secrets. And it will share them with you. Sometimes. When it feels like it. But it doesn't owe you answers. It doesn't owe you resolution. You're just here. Playing. Permitted. for as long as the world allows. Secret 37. The simulation does not collapse under scrutiny. It becomes quieter. And finally, this. The Sims is full of contradictions, glitches, impossibilities, things that shouldn't work, stories that don't make sense, systems that operate in ways you don't understand. And you'd expect, that pointing them out would break something, that scrutiny would collapse the illusion, that examining the seams would tear the world apart. But it doesn't. The simulation doesn't collapse. It doesn't shatter. It doesn't defend itself or argue back. It just becomes quieter. The more you notice, the more the world seems to recede. Not in a hostile way, not defensively, just gently, calmly, like it's saying, yes, you see it now, good. And then it continues, functioning, persisting, unchanged by your understanding of it. Because The Sims was never about fooling you. It was never about perfect illusion. It was always a little broken, a little strange, a little too honest about what it was. A simulation. A world made of code and files and half-finished ideas. A place where stories start and don't finish. Where characters vanish. Where the rules bend. And it knows you know. It's always known. And it doesn't mind. It just keeps running. Keeps simulating. Keeps existing. Quieter, maybe. More aware of its own strangeness. But still here. Still breathing. Still alive, in its own strange way. Waiting for you to build another house. Start another family. Try to make sense of it all one more time. Knowing you won't. Not fully. Not ever. But you'll keep playing anyway. Because the world, this strange, contradictory, impossible world, is still beautiful. Still compelling. Still worth exploring. Even when you know it's broken. Especially when you know it's broken. Because that's what makes it real. Not the perfection. The flaws. The cracks. The secrets. The things it whispers when it thinks you're not listening. We've walked through all of it together. Through graveyards and glitches. Through missing persons and broken families. Through the places where the world smiled at you and the places where it turned away. And now you know. Now you've seen. The Sims is not what you thought it was. It never was. It's stranger. Deeper. More aware. And it's been waiting. All this time. For someone to notice. For someone to look closely enough to see what it really is. Not a game about life. But a game about the simulation of life. About the attempt. About all the ways it succeeds and all the ways it fails. About the beauty in the trying and the horror in the breaking. It's a world that knows it's a world. That acknowledges its own impossibility. That speaks to you directly and then pretends it never did. And maybe that's the biggest secret of all. That The Sims was never trying to trick you. Never trying to be real. It was just trying to be honest. About what it is. About what it can and can't do. About the limits of simulation. The edges of story. And it's been honest. All along. In its own strange, quiet, contradictory way. You just had to listen. And now you have. Thank you for walking with me. Through all of this. Through the dark and the strange and the beautiful broken pieces. The Sims will still be there tomorrow. Still running. Still simulating. Still hiding its secrets in basements and code and forgotten files. And maybe you'll play it differently now. Maybe you'll notice things you didn't before. Maybe you'll see the seams. The edges. The places where the world stops pretending. Or maybe you'll just build a house. Start a family. Live a simple life. Either way, the world will be there. Waiting. Quieter than before, maybe. But still breathing. Still watching. Still full of secrets. Always. Sleep well. Dream of neighborhoods. Of families. Of worlds that exist beneath worlds. And when you wake, remember. The game remembers you too. It always has.